To begin with, I want to revisit EIA 2020 Environmental Impact Assessment Draft 2020. During that time, I came across a notice which was being sent to the Fridays for Future regarding their unlawful activities. The same UAPA was charged under them, but lately it was withdrawn. So I want to visit that what was the charge and on what ground they have been issued this UAPA. So Fridays for Future, it's a environmental awareness site. Young people around the world, they're creating awareness about the climate crisis and they're raising voices against the environmental issues. As far as I know, that's what they're doing, and for that they've been charged under UAPA. So I want to revisit the complaint, the notice issued to them. Here you can see the complaint sent by the cybercrime unit, and where we can see the brief facts of the case. In the above mentioned complaint of Honorable Cabinet Minister Shri Prakash Javadekar regarding the incident of getting multiple emails on his email address with the subject name similar to EIA 2020. After the investigation, mainly below mentioned website is sending emails to him. Their unlawful activities on this website may disturb peace, sovereignty of India. So this is where the disturbance of peace and sovereignty of India are being equated with the people who are creating awareness about this climate change. Hi, this video is going to be about Unlawful Activities Prevention Act UAPA, and I have no background in law. If you have seen lately, there's been several people being charged under this UAPA, so I want to know why these people are being charged, especially under this act, and what impact will it have if they are being charged under this act. And I want to know about the people who are being charged also under this act, what work they have done, why they are being charged. So this video series is going to be like a journey for me in getting to know about the law and also the people who are being charged under this act. So if you are one of the person watching this video, you can tag along with me in this journey where we can learn about this act and about the people who are being charged under this act. Or if you're someone who has more information or knowledge regarding this act, you can share it, so it will help everyone to understand it better. So we can consider it as a study circle, so where we can exchange information and ideas, so we can all learn together. So welcome to the series. The summer of 1908, after the partition of Bengal, there have been several murder attempts to murder Sir Andrew Fraser, who was the Lieutenant Governor of Bengal. And on 30th April, two young Indian revolutionaries, Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Kumar Chake, they tried to assassinate Mr. Kingsford, former Presidency Magistrate of Calcutta. While their assassination attempt failed because they threw the bomb into a carriage in which two English women were returning from club at Musafirpur, and both ladies died of their injuries. And also in July, there have been disturbances in Bombay upon the prosecution of Tilak for sedition. All this unrest going on in the country, then Viceroy of India, Lord Minto, who had brought several reforms to India, has enforced Indian Criminal Law Amendment Act in December, which will pave way for this UAPA later in the future. According to this act, this gave power to suppress associations formed for unlawful acts. Also, the executive government empowered to declare an association unlawful and there was no appeal against its decision. So, what does an association mean according to this act? Here means any combination or body of persons, whether the same may be known by any distinctive name or not. Now, what is an unlawful association? As I said earlier, association means any combination or group of bodies. That means me and my friend can be considered as association, or me and several other people who are playing any sports or meeting somewhere for a tea or having a discussion or going to a movie or just hanging out in a place. We can all be formed under this association or a group which is officially registered as an organization. They can also come under this association. Now, what is an unlawful association according to this? Unlawful association which encourages or aids persons to commit acts of violence or intimidation or of which the members habitually commit such acts. So if me and my friends, if we encourage to commit acts of violence or aid someone in committing acts of violence or intimidating someone, which will all come under this unlawful association. Section 16 of the Act, if the state government is of opinion, so they are of the opinion, there no need to be any proof or evidence. If they think that any association interferes or has its object interference with the administration of the law or with the maintenance of law and order, or that it constitutes a danger to the public peace, the state government may, by notification in the official gazette, declare such association to be unlawful. So here we have to see, they're just going to be merely declare an association unlawful based on the opinion of the state government and which constitute danger to the public peace. So here they didn't define what's public peace. So anything might come under public peace. As we have seen in the Fridays for Future case, their website was doing environmental awareness regarding the issues. So there they mentioned that that website may contribute to the disturbance of public peace. So this public peace can be taken to any extreme, and it all depends on who is in power of the state government. And this was the power the colonial government had in suppressing political dissenters during that time. Lord Minto reformed this Criminal Law Amendment Act. He said that they're imposing it to control the terrorist activities and anarchical crimes, but they used this act to suppress the political activities and the people who are involved in these political activities. And even using this act, they even banned Congress Party in 1932 and Railway Workers Union in 1936. During that time, none of these organizations have committed any acts of violence. Merely for their political activity, these organizations were banned under this act. In 1924, H.S. Gore, a member of the Legislative Assembly, he passed a bill to repeal this act, but nothing happened. Then Nehru stated that the government's justification that it required exceptional laws to govern the country was a confession that it had failed in the art of government. Jinnah accused the act for targeting non-violent organizations. India got independence 1947. The British left India, but what happened to this act? We had the chance to repeal this act, but we didn't do that. And what we did with the Article 19, and what happened to the sedition under which Tilak was charged. We will see about that in the next video. Thank you.